Good morning, students. Good morning to all. Last day we have studied the types of economics. Have you remember? So the microeconomics and macroeconomics, public finance, developmental economics, and international economics, environmental economics, and health economics. Have you remember about this? Okay, anyway, it may be very easy only. Okay, just to study. And today we will go to the next topic. Today we will study about the basic economic problems. So you can say why the basic problems are arising in one economy. Normally, if the resources are abundant and wants are so few, then there would be no economic problem. Okay, the resources are too much and the wants are very few or limited mean, so the nations will not face any one of the problems. Okay, because whatever we want to produce, so we can easily produce because we have more resources abundantly the resources. Okay, by using these resources, so we can easily produce what the consumers wants. Okay, but nowadays we have the controversial situations means, so the wants are unlimited and the resources available resources are very scarcity. Okay, but now if you want to produce something on the basis of the human wants, we cannot able to use the availability resources. Okay, because the availability resources are not sufficient to produce all the commodities what the consumers wants. Okay, so only so all the nations have to facing the problems. So this problem only considered as a economic problems. Okay, so by having the scarcity resources, the nations have some of the choices to producing on the basis of their wants. Okay, so before deciding the basic problems, what to produce, how to produce, and for whom we have to produce, everything have to deciding or analyzing before to choosing the production possibilities. Okay, because on the basis of the populations and the classification of the people, so the nations have to choose. Okay, but before analyzing or before taking the economic problems. Okay, so what are the problems are there in these resources and in an economy mean? First, wants or diseases are unlimited. Okay, already we have studied the human wants are unlimited. Okay, so the different type of the peoples are there, the different types of peoples also having the different kind of wants and desires. So the human wants are unlimited and the scarcity resources are very few and insufficient. Okay, so the not freely available of the resources. Okay, so when we have the particular or the limited resources, that also will not moving as a movable things. Okay, so now we must understand or we must take the choice of the production, how people use scarce resources to satisfy the unlimited wants. Okay, so the having the unlimited wants is the human behavior, it is the nature. Okay, so we can't change the human wants. Okay, so the nations only have to take the effort to fulfilling the satisfy of consuming wants. So and in these basic economic problems, so first one of the problems, by having the limited resource and the unlimited wants, so we must know about the size of productions, what and how much to produce. First we should know about the things, what product we have to produce. It is the basic necessity of life, or the luxury commodities, or the comfortable commodities fulfilling the satisfaction of the rich peoples. Okay, and if you are choose the product, so next we must know how much we have to produce. So on the basis of the number of populations or the amount of populations, we must produce, right? So that every society must decide on what goods it will be produced and how much of this it will produce. Okay, in this process, the crucial decision includes. Okay, so for decision of what and how much production is has the crucial decisions. First, whether to produce more food or more luxury goods. Okay, so the goods only will be fulfilling the wants of the poor peoples, and the luxury goods will be fulfilling the wants of the rich people, right? Next, whether to have more agricultural goods or industrial goods. Okay, so if you have decided the goods, the consumer goods and the public goods, so next we have to choose the another topic. So the what type of goods, so whether to have more agricultural goods or the industrial goods. Next, whether to use more resources in the education and health or the military services. Okay, so the both are these three also one of the most important factor are the resources, the education or the health and the defense. These three factors are also very important. Okay, without the health, the human welfare is not improve, and like that educations. Okay, without the educations, the human development or the human resources are not having improved. Okay, but without the defense, so there is no need to have having the protect of the country from another nations. Okay, so we should taking the choice of use more resources in the education and health and the defense. Next, whether to have more consumption goods or investment goods. Consumption goods only will be consumed by the consumer. The investment goods means it will be useful to creating the productivity or the capital formations. Okay, as it will be lead to the national income. So last, whether to use more on basic education or higher education. Okay, because in our nations different number of the peoples are still not having the basic educations. Okay, and so many of the peoples are not able to going to the work because of the lack of higher educations. Okay, so when we are thinking about these two factors, so we have to take one of the decision to choose any one thing from these two, right? Next, after deciding what and how much produce, next we have to take the decision of how to produce. So every society has to decide whether it will be use labor intensive technology or capital intensive technology. Labor intensive technology mean to produce any of the commodities, so the producers have to arranging more labors even he has the more technology. Why means, so when he has adapting, when he is arranging the labor, so the employment opportunity will be get, unemployment problem will be reduced from the society. Okay, but if he thinking only the profit, so he will never arranging the labor intensive technology. Okay, in the capitalist economy, or if the profitable entrepreneur or the rational entrepreneur only will be arranging the labor, the capital intensive technology only. So capital intensive technology mean, so arranging the more machineries and capital goods. Okay, to produce any of the commodities, so the producers have two chance by arranging the labor he can producing some amount of commodities. Otherwise, with the help of the machineries, he can produce some amount of the commodities. Okay, by comparing these two, if he thinking some of the from where we can get the profit mean, so on the basis of profit, he will arranging the capital intensive or labor intensive. Okay, if he arranging the capital intensive, so the labor will be in unemployment problem. Okay, if the producers arranging the capital intensive means he will get more profit. Okay, so on the basis of this problem, so we have to deciding about how to produce. Next, the for whom to produce. For whom we have to produce. So every society must also decide how its produce be distributed among the different sections of society. So when we are distributing or producing any of the commodities, so the produced commodities is going to reach different kinds of the people. Among these people, who is getting more or who is getting less is considerable. So on the basis of getting more satisfaction or more utility, we should arranging the product. So due to the scarcity of resources, a society faces the compulsion of making choice among alternatives. Alternatives mean, so for to produce, to consuming any one of the commodities, what commodities will give same satisfaction. Okay, so it will be produced by the government. So it faces the problem of allocating the scarce resources to the production of different possible goods and services, and of distributing the produced goods and services among the individuals within the economy. Okay, so to produce any of the commodities, so the government must be allot the scarce resources as the optimum level to produce and distributing the goods and services. Okay, so this is the basic economic problems. Next, we will study the production possibility curve. So we have the basic problem. By having the scarcity resources, the government have to decide what have to produce. Okay, so on the problem, on the one of the problem of what have to product is reduced by using the production possibility curve. So the production possibility curve is the geometric device in which we can easily understand how and what we have to produce when we have the two choice of possibilities. Okay, so the problem of choice between relatively scarce commodities due to limited productive resources with the society can be illustrated with the help of the geometric device is called production possibility curve. Okay, already we have studied, for example, if we have the two production possibilities to produce the car or the food. Car is the luxury goods. It is consumed by the rich people. And the food is the basic necessity of life and it is consumed by the poor peoples. Okay, suppose when we have the two production possibilities, we should select any one of these. Okay, how can we select any one of these two means by using the production possibility curve we can choose, because we can understand when we are selecting any one of these two from where we will get full satisfaction. On the basis of the result we can come to the conclusions. So the production possibility curve shows the menu of choice along which a society can choose the substitutes one good for another. Okay, suppose when we have the two production possibilities, so the societies will select any one of these two on the basis of the scarce resources. Okay, so to explanation and analysis of the production possibility curve, we must take some of the certain assumptions. On the basis of the assumptions only, so we can take the production possibility curve. First one is that time period does not change. Okay, so when we are producing any one of the commodities from these two commodity, so the time period must be considerable. Okay, within the same time period, the production process have to happen. Okay, it remains the same throughout the curve. Okay, it remains the same throughout the curve. From the throughout the curve, so all the production possibilities have to undertaken within the same time gap. Next, techniques of production are fixed. Okay, for producing any of the commodities, we will use some of the techniques. Okay, the techniques of production are fixed throughout the year. Okay, by producing 1 unit of commodities is labor capital intensive, and 1 unit of the commodity is used by capital intensive, means it is not possible, it is not giving a good result. Okay, third one is there is full employment in the economy. Full employment in the economy means all the factors of production and all the resources must be in the utilizations. Okay, so all the factors of productions have to get the job, and all the resources also will be in full employed. That is called full employment of the economy. So in this societies, in this economy, no unemployment problem. Okay, so fourth one is only two goods can be produced from the given resources. Okay, by using the given resources, we have to produce two commodity only. For example, car or food. Okay, so the production possibility curve used to choosing the one commodities from the two only. Next, resources of production are fully mobile. Mobile means all the factors of production, all the resources are moving from one place to another one of the places, because all the productions also can able to moving from one industry to another industry. So all the resources can easily movable from one place to another place. Next, the factor of production are given in quantity and quality. Okay, for producing the two commodities, the factor of productions also having the same quantity and quality. Next, the low diminishing returns operates in production. Low diminishing returns mean, so when we are investing 1000 rupees, so the output also will be reduced or will be declined. So it will be very lower than the investment amount. That is called diminishing returns. The profit amount will be diminished. That is called diminishing returns. Okay, the diminishing returns only operates in the production. Okay, so every production curve is based upon the assumption only. If some of these assumption changes are neglected, then it affects the nature of production possibility curve. Okay, so these 6 assumptions also have to be thoroughly considerable. Okay, if any of these assumption is changes or it is neglected, so the production possibility curve is lost their nature. Okay, so to draw or before drawing or understanding the production possibility curve, we must know about the production possibility schedule. Okay, so before draw the production possibility curve, we can easily understand by seeing the production possibility schedule. So by having the production possibility schedule, we can easily get the clear idea and clarifications on production of commodities. Okay, so in this schedule, so the 3 columns are there. In this one column, the possibilities are mentioned. Okay, so the possibilities are mentioned. So 5 possibilities there to produce any of the commodities. Okay, and the quantity of production, quantity of food production is mentioned in the second column, and the number of car production is mentioned in this third column. Okay, we have 6 possibilities to produce 2 commodities. Okay, so in this first possibilities, we don't have any production of food. Instead of producing food, we can produce 25 number of cars. Okay, suppose if the nations are not having the need of food, and if he has the need of car mean, so the nations can produce the 25 cars and 0 percentage of food. Okay, otherwise the nations can take the second possibilities, in which the nations can produce the 100 ton of food and 23 number of cars. Okay, by reducing the 2 unit of cost, so we can select 100 ton of food. And we have the third possibilities, so we can increasing the additional 100 of food, 200 of unit of food, and we must reduce the 5 number of cars. Okay, so that possibilities, so we can another 100 tons of food may be increased when we have reduced the 10 number of cars. Okay, and in this fifth possibilities, we can increase the moreover 100 ton of food, and we must reduce the 12 unit number of cars. Okay, so in this time, so both people, the luxury people are the poor people, and the rich people also can able to get the maximum satisfaction. Okay, so we have the two possibilities. Okay, only we should produce the 0 percentage of food and 25 number of cars. Okay, otherwise suppose if we need of some amount of food mean, we should produce the 100 ton of rice and 23 number of cars. Okay, so in the second possibilities, we cannot produce the 100 ton of rice and 25 number of cars. Okay, because for producing the 25 number of cars, we didn't have the sufficient resources. Okay, suppose when we are reducing the 2 number of cars only, we can produce the 100 tons of rice. Okay, so like that, whenever we want to increasing the amount of the food, we should reducing the amount of cars. Okay, because the available resources very sufficient. Okay, so we must reduce. Okay, otherwise if you are producing the 500 unit of food only, we can't produce any car. Okay, in this time, so the poor people only will having the more satisfaction. Okay, because by using the resources only, we can produce the food only, right? So next, the production possibility curve. Okay, so already you may have understand by seeing the production possibility schedule. Okay, suppose if you are not understand, just we can easily understand by seeing the production possibility curve. Okay, so in this x-axis the food production is mentioned, and in this y-axis the number of cars are mentioned here. Okay, so when we are producing that 10 unit of car, we can produce the 400 tons of food. Okay, otherwise just if we increase the car 15, so we can reduce the food amount. Okay, otherwise just you can understand, so the 25 unit of the car, when we are producing the 25 number of car, we cannot produce any amount of food. Okay, so that if the nations reduce the number of cars from 25 to 20. Okay, now by using these available resources, we can produce the 100 ton of food along with the 20 number of cars. Okay, then whenever we are reducing the amount of number of cars, we can increasing the amount of food. Okay, so now the 15 unit of car and the 300 unit of food is the maximum possibility of the production from these two commodities. Okay, when we are producing the 300 unit ton of the food and the 50 number of cars, so the both the rich and the poor will get the more satisfaction, and all the resources also will be in fully employed. Okay, so in this area you also must know one more thing. Okay, so the area P1, so below this accumulative curve. Okay, so below this locus point, so if the nations are produce any amount, so it is not sufficient to providing throughout the people or throughout the world. Okay, all over the people is not enough. Okay, so beyond the accumulative point, okay, so beyond this locus point, the point B, so we can't produce because the scarcity of resources. Okay, so if you are select any one of this point or this point, so the society will be in underemployed. The resources will be in wasteful. Okay, because we have the available resources. By having the available resources, we can take any one of the point P2, P3, P4, P5 or P6. Okay, so but we can't produce any of the commodities beyond this locus point. Okay, otherwise if we select any one of the below the locus point, so the available resources will be in wasteful. Okay, so we must select the P4 point. If we are selecting the P4 point, locus of the P4 point, we will be in a full satisfaction and all the resources also will be in full employed, right? So the any one of the point we can select by using the availability resources. Understand? Okay, if you have any doubt, just ask me, I will tell you. Next, shift of production possibility curve. Okay, so already we have studied the production possibility, the locus of the locus point of the possibilities. So the locus of the possibilities in this production possibilities curve always shift from up and down, and it will be reduced or increase or decrease. To moving the production possibility curve to upward or downward, the two reasons are there. Okay, so one of the reason is to change in the supply of productive resources. Okay, already we have studied, so we can't increase any of the commodities because the availability resources is very limited. Okay, now if the supply of resources, productive resources is increased, so we can increasing the production amount of productions. Okay, so in these situations, so the production possibility curve, the locus of production possibility will be moving from point A to A1, E1. Okay, otherwise if the resources, productive resources is reduced or declined from the existing level, so the locus of production possibility curve will be downward from A1 to AE. Okay, so on the basis of the availability resources or the productive resources, the production possibility curve may be upward or downward. Okay, otherwise the changes in the state of technology, already we have studied, the labor intensive technology or the capital intensive technology. Okay, suppose if the technology skill or the technology is improved from time to time or increasing the technological skill also, we can increasing the production level. Okay, so by increasing the technological skill and increasing the productive resources, the production possibility curve will shift from one place to another of the place. Okay, other only just it may be upward from downward or downward from upward. Okay, okay students, today we have studied the production possibility curve, production possibility schedule, and shift of production possibility curve. How the production possibility curve is shifting from one place to another place. One place to another place means it will be shift from upward or downward. Okay, if you have any doubt, please ask me, I will tell you. Okay, so today's study portion is just to study the basic economic problems or the production possibility curve. Okay students, okay. Thank you.